All right, what's up, and welcome to Lunchtime in the Lab. We have 17 people in here early, probably because I've got my boy Jay Bookie. Let's see, which direction do I point? This way to get to him. We are live, last second kind of guest, so you'll have to give us a second to kind of get a groove going. We'll do the show normal, then he'll kind of chime in with some K props and everything like that. I see the chat here early on. Somebody said Jason's going to ladder Paul Skeens up to 27 Ks. So that's a heck of a perfect game there. But we got Paul Skeens as the thumbnail player of the day. So I certainly have a play on him, and we'll see if Jay Bookie's got anything. But Jay Bookie, that's his Twitter underneath. Is that your full Twitter? They're 22 at the end.
Yeah, right? I got the 22, and I didn't put the 22. That's my bad.
I think I can edit it, but I can't. All right. Well, hey, I can put you on the spot and give me do you want to introduce yourself kind of thing, and we can get going.
Name's Jay Bookie. Just started almost a month now with Beer Money Picks. Been a bit. Loving every minute of it, liking the shows that you guys are doing. So decided, when I got some spare time, wanted to hop in and see what we can cook together on your show today. But not much. I mean, if you got any questions, go ahead and ask in the comments.
Yeah, there you go. So we got, let's see. I forgot we're actually live on Twitter here too. So live on Twitter, live on YouTube as well. So the normal spiel, if you're watching on Twitter, do me a favor, come on over to YouTube. We doubled up a couple live streams in a row on Twitter, but it's because I had a guest. So, I certainly want to make sure I maximize that. I am on the road to 1,000 subscribers. I'm like 80 away from getting there. So do me a favor. If you have not hit that button for me yet, please, if you're watching on mobile, just pull it down, hit the subscribe button. There's a little red, let's see which direction, all the way in that far right corner, the little red circle. You could hit that. I think it might actually take you away. But anyway, subscribe at some point. And then if you're on Twitter, come on over at Lunchtime in the Lab or just search Lunchtime in the Lab. You can subscribe for me here. Like Michael here says he follows me on Twitter. Found the link, excited to see what I have to say. So I'm glad I've been able to kind of spread it out or whatever. My boy Chuck in here normally, Paul Skeens Day. A little bit of a different day than Patrick Corbin Day that we like to celebrate on the podcast here. So much different, pitcher, skill level or whatever, I guess you can say. So a lot of people like Paul Skeens today. All right. So I got my notes pulled up here. Let me pull this over. So a lot of people, what you say here? First time. So I don't know if you tell us what you're looking at. First couple games, first time. Well, thanks for checking out. Like I said, every day on YouTube. The way it goes is we talk quickly about yesterday. I give my 3 favorite plays. Jay Bookie, in the midst of things, has probably got 1 or 2 that he could give out that he likes today. The slate starts kind of early. And then I always do a home run lotto at the end. We pick 3 guys out. The group, in the chat, they give out who they think is going to hit a home run. We put something together like plus 10,000 and we cross our fingers and we hope, that bad boy is going to hit. So we'll get into it. I will say here quickly, let me just pull the graphic up here real quick. Let's see. It's been a second since I've had, that's not quite the right one. This beautiful yellow graphic. We talked about beer money and I was going to talk about them here in a second. I found a little bit of a weird line on the Discord this morning. If you guys took that bet with me, that La Tech bet, do me a favor. Let me know if that happens to cash. I'm still trying to see if it's going to go out or not. It started, it was rained out top of the 9th. It was 8-2. They had a minus 3.5 line. We just needed them to not let them score 2 runs. I'm still waiting for it to pay out, but I feel like we caught the book sleeping a little bit. So hopefully we can see that money go in or whatever, So if you're in the Discord, do me a favor, check that out for me, please. Because I have yet to see them pay it out. I've yet to see them voided. The game's been over for a while. Speaking of the Discord, though, the very bottom, there's a link to check it out, or at the very top on Twitter. If you're on my page, there's a link, to get in there as well. Jay Bookie's got one on there too. If you're a listener of the podcast here, Lunchtime in the Lab, you can use that link. All caps Lunchtime gets you 25% off to check it out. But I think we go ahead and just go get into it. I feel like we've been talking for a while. Today's Thursday, May 23rd. Before we get into today's plays, we'll take a look back and see what we did yesterday. And I'm watching Miami and Clemson on the left side, at least the tracker. And Clemson's going to try to give this game up. It's going to be frustrating. Tom, Jared, yeah, I haven't seen it cash out yet. Weird. College baseball takes a while, so fingers crossed. I mean, I put a chunk of money on there. We called it 2 units. Michael, real quick, how much does a Discord cost with that 25%? It'll be $30 per month, essentially $1 a day. Some people, I mean, there's others. I've been in groups. I worked for a group that was certainly more than that. Pretty good deal on it. But if you have any questions or whatever, at Live Joe Bets, you can definitely check me out and we can take a look at it. Anyway, before we get into the plays, we'll talk about yesterday really fast. And then we give my boy over here a chance to get into something he likes too. Mets and Guardians over 9 yesterday. That pushed. We had 3 solo home runs by the Mets. And that's like all they did, I'm pretty sure. So we pushed on that one. Royals money line early up. Easy win yesterday. Miami just hit a home run, so that's awesome. Clemson's losing already. And then Rangers, Phillies over 9.5. That flew over. Been looking really good with the weather. I think I saw there was 37 or 44. I can't remember. One of those two numbers sticks out to me. Home runs in the last 2 days with this good weather we've having. We've been hitting overs in the Discord, so it's been doing pretty awesome for us there. Let's go ahead and get into it today real quick before we get into the official plays. We always talk real quick about the well, we can actually let's go ahead and just skip it for now and we'll hop into what I would be maybe my first play. But Jay Bookie, I'll give you've been sitting there quietly. And I'm sure you're probably trying to research on this side there too, since we kind of have you on the spot a little bit. Is there anything you have that is like overly jumping out or seems like maybe even would be a good lean to add to something possibly today?
So what I like to look at first is I like to see what the pitcher matchups are, against teams, see what teams have a high, whiff rate, high K rate. Sometimes you can get lines that are a little bit smaller because of the matchup. So for instance, a line that I'm looking at is Luis Castillo versus the Yankees. So I would say usually his line's probably set about 6.5 you'd say with a good K matchup. Right. So today they got his matchup, his line at 5.5. And I really like that. I mean, Castillo, he's an elite K pitcher, I would say. And I mean, it might be a tough one. Yankees, they don't K a lot, but I mean, a 5.5 line, I think I got to take that no matter what for someone that has potential to get 10 Ks on a good matchup. So I like that. And then also, what else was I looking at here? I just saw there was another line that was also pretty low too. 1 second, and Kevin Gossman. I liked his matchup today, and I think his line was also set at 5.5 versus Detroit. So let me look a little bit more into the stats. I know he hasn't been the same Kevin Gossman of past.
Way off.
But his last 3 games, he's got 6 Ks versus Tampa Bay, 6 Ks versus Minnesota, and 8 Ks versus Washington. So if you've paid attention to K props, Minnesota obviously is a team that likes to strike out a lot. So would have liked to see a little bit higher number than 6 on that matchup, but Washington, over the past few years, they're a team that does not strike out a lot at all. So for him to be able to get 8 Ks versus a Washington team and then get the 6 and 6 versus Minnesota and Tampa Bay, now he's playing against a Detroit team who on the season, they're the 23rd ranked K percentage team. So I like that as well, the 5.5 line. So what I like to do also is, so that's their main line. So to be safer, maybe make a builder. I would also consider dropping down, say Kevin Gossman 4.5, and then parlaying that with Luis Castillo 4.5, and see what the odds are for that. It'd probably be, I would assume, probably like a minus 125 or something around that. And if you're feeling, a little bit risky, you can ladder both of them up together and see how far you can get it and just, decrease your unit size as you go. Right. But right off the bat, those are 2 guys that I'm looking at as far as pitchers for today's slate.
And then, so you brought up the Mariners. Somebody actually asked me in the Discord earlier about the early up promo. And TJ, I mean, Will, we killed the, you were on the Royals yesterday. I know. I mean, the Mariners certainly look like they could be a decent option for the early up. I mean, I'm looking at I don't have DraftKings actually pulled up, but you got plus 124. Here, I'll pull this comment up for you, JBookie. Plus 124 on the Mariners. I mean, I think I kind of I lean Padres a little bit. We always talk about the early up promo. Matt Waldron's been pitching, a little bit better. He pitches away, he pitches better away. You got Frankie Montas, he's been getting just barreled up, just been getting hit hard realistically, and then of course, I mean, I think we're going to say that, the Padres bats are certainly better than what what the Reds have to offer. Looking at that ballpark, as usual, a plus 32% increase in home runs, an 18% chance of runs there. I think the Padres have a lot more power than the Reds do. It's a game ultimately I think the Padres probably win. And then the fact that they do bat first, it's minus 112. I think that's probably my favorite early up, but I could certainly see like the Mariners going too. It just depends on what like Gill's going to do in terms of shutting down the Mariners offense, who is like, they're pretty up and down too, unfortunately. J-Book, I don't know if you read that. TJ says you guys got the same brain. That's exactly how he starts looking at it or breaking it down or whatever.
I like it. I personally think the best thing to look at when you're looking at MLB slate, the first thing you want to look at is the pitching matchup. So if you can find an edge, you got to jump on it. I like to get on them the night before because the lines like to move pretty fast, but unfortunately I wasn't able to do that today.
And sometimes that's so hard. I like to bet like overnight basketball too, but then there's a certain degree of like fairness sometimes too. It's like, oh, I got it at 14 points and now it's at 17. And it's like, well, everybody else is sleeping, but just because I have a newborn and I'm up at 3 a.m. or whatever to look at lines, so but all right, so might as well get into the first play I have here. As usual, just got 3 plays for it. Normally have a little graphic along the side. I've always pick my my thumbnail player of the day, for a reason. We got our boy Paul Skeens going today. And depending on what book you have, I think you have some options. So I was manually building Pirates money line, Paul Skeens K's to kind of see what I could get for a little bit of like, a plus 100 kind of bet. If you put it together and you build it yourself on FanDuel, there is the Pirates money line and Paul Skeens 7 Ks is plus 100. However, FanDuel has a boost today at plus 150 for him to get 6 strikeouts and to win. So I think depending on how you're playing this, just in fairness, I mean, we can kind of talk about it either way. I think you have to run that boost, and boosts are normally pretty like trappy, like I usually don't like to play a boost, but since I was building the play itself and somebody DM me and they're like, do you like this? And it's like, hey, like I actually do like this. I think that for him to throw 6 strikeouts for the Pirates to win at plus 150, I feel like is a pretty good little bet there. Skeens had 11 and 7 Ks versus the Cubs. It's 7 in his first matchup. The second time around he faced them, normally the second time around a pitcher gets beat up. You're not supposed to pitch even better the second time around. Like they see his stuff, they see, what he's throwing, his release point, everything like that. And he actually had 4 more strikeouts than he did, the first time around. I think he kind of settled in. Some of that first appearance, first game jitters was kind of out of the way. And I think he settles down in this game where, let's see, the Giants strike out 9 times, I think pushing 10 times away on average. They struck out 12 times last night. The guys just got elite level stuff, and the Giants offense is just pretty anemic right now. They've got some injuries that they're dealing with. Mason Black was listed as the pitchers for the Giants. It's now Eric Miller. I don't know if that's going to be an opener, if they're doing a bullpen type game, like what they're doing. Mason Black, another young prospect, certainly not anything close to what Skeens has been doing. He's looked, I mean, I wouldn't say like horrendous, but like not good. The Giants bullpen has the 6th highest ERA in the league. So if they are going bullpen, I mean, this is a unit that's given up a lot of runs. So just in terms of the Pirates being able to win, I think Skeens holds him down. Probably not going to be a banger of a game. It's an 8 total. But if we can get ourselves like a 2-1, 3-1, 3-0 kind of game, whatever it's going to be, I think Skeens. I think Skeens is going to have it. And like TJ says, like, maybe the Giants are going to win. So if you like Skeens, run his Ks alone. But I'm interested in that 6+ strikeouts and the Pirates to win. I think it's a pretty good look, especially for you build it separately. You got -184 on the money line, and for him to have 6 strikeouts on FanDuel, at least it's -480. So I'm sure if you built that together, you're probably not even at +100. So I mean, it's pretty good value. I think it's something that's going to be hard to. It's something, in my opinion, that's going to be hard to not take. Sir, you got any comments on our boy Paul Skeens? How you think his Ks are going to be today?
I think you got to ride it until he proves that you can't anymore. Honestly, I mean, with a guy that's doing what he's doing, I mean, you would look silly if you didn't take, like, if you took an under on him or anything like that. I think 6K for someone with his talent, no matter the matchup, I think you got to take it. And then at the money line, add the money line with it and get it at +130. I think that's good value.
Yeah, and he's throwing nearly like 100-mile-an-hour fastball. I mean, he's got some nasty stuff. Did you see that, like, he doesn't watch the games, that he goes in the tunnel and then he comes out when it's time to pitch? Did you see that, like, interview?
I did not.
Yeah, and I don't know if, like, maybe it was fake or not, but, like, apparently he, like, doesn't watch the offense. Like, I guess he was in an interview and they're like, what do you think about your, the way they were hitting or something like that? And he's like, oh, honestly, like, I don't watch the games. Like, apparently, like, he pitches and goes and chills in the tunnel, then he comes out and pitches and then, like, doesn't even really know I mean, of course he sees the score, but maybe I'm just thinking, maybe like whatever I read was like fake or something like that. I mean, who knows? But yeah, apparently that's a thing.
Yeah,
and I mean, like, gosh, he struck out his first 5 batters like last time around or something like that. It's been crazy, Jared, that's probably a good question. Which is more likely, Skeens to get 12 Ks or 3 Ks in the first for +1200?
God,
they're both +1200. That's 3 up, 3 down against the Giants doesn't sound crazy, but it's just hard because, like, there could be, I mean, a pop fly, they make any sort of contact or anything like that. He's done the 3 up, 3 down, if I'm not mistaken, at least once, but he has not done the 12. So I guess in terms of what's more likely, it very well could be the 3 up, 3 down, I suppose.
You just have to look at the lineup. So it looks like the Giants, they're having Matos, Wade Jr., and Estrada as the first 3. So I'd probably just look at their stats versus right-handed pitching and kind of see if they're high K or not, But sometimes these guys, they're up there, swinging at everything. So I don't know. You'd have to look at the matchups.
I would probably – you have more instant gratification by taking the 3 up, 3 down bet. Man, I think Miami is just hitting the hell out of goal.
I mean, say you took both, like took the 3Ks. Say you just put like 0.1 units or just 0.25 units on something, just a sprinkle, on both. And don't even risk a full unit between the two. I mean, that wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah, because I mean, like, if the 3 up, 3 down is gonna happen, it's gonna have him on his way to 12.
Yeah, I mean, you get that instant notification if you get the 3 right away, and then you get to sweat out the rest of the game for the 12.
Yeah, right. I hate K props. I can't believe I'm even going to play a K prop, but the dude strikes so many people out. It makes it worth it.
They got his line.
Okay. What's that?
His line for the game is set at 7.5.
Yeah, so it's really not that much higher. And on FanDuel, the highest I'm seeing is 11. So I'm not sure who has him at 12. And 11 was only like +800 or something like that. So anyhow, I think depending on what you got, the Pirates, for him to throw 7 strikeouts is +100, or you can take the boost for the Pirates money line and 6 strikeouts for +150. I mean, obviously the value is just insane compared to the 2, and it's 1 less strikeout. So I mean, that makes a ton of sense. Oh, it's a game special. Okay. Okay. Anyway, second play. I gotta stop paying attention to this. If these college baseball games continue to just suck, then these conference tournaments are just bad luck. Because I don't think I've ever gone. I went 0-2 in college baseball yesterday. I don't think I've ever done that. I watched Indiana State give up a run in the top of the ninth to tie it, and then 5 in the top of the 11th, and they score 4 themselves in the bottom of the 9, and killing me, man. I'm up 35 units in that, and then conference tournament, I'm gonna lose, give it all back. Okay. Second play, Phillies and the Rangers. I think you just got to continue to bet the Phillies. I mean, the Phillies are insane right now. This doesn't feel like another over game, even though, we do have good weather for it again, in terms of hitting and everything like that. Spence minus Phillies minus 1.5. Yes, sir. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, Wheeler
down big now. Yeah, they are. What's up?
They got Wheeler on the bump today too, so.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see. So a couple little notes I have for it. Wheeler's been good, 5-3, 2.54 ERA at home. He's got a 1.63 ERA, so he's certainly been, performing pretty well there. In terms of odds, you actually get at plus 105 on FanDuel, so some pretty good value to it. And they've been winning. I didn't actually look it up. I could look it up here in a second as I'm talking or whatever. But he's given up just 3 runs in his last 3 starts at home, combined, going for 21 innings pitched without that, through that time frame. So he's looked really good at home. Obviously, he gets a lot of run support as well. Andrew Heaney going 0-5, 4.43 ERA. Definitely struggled away. He's given up at least 2 runs in every single away start. The guy is just getting hit. The Phillies are the second best batting average, best on base, most, the most home runs, eighth most home runs, 6th highest slugging. They're scoring the most runs at home. I mean, it just goes on and on of, how good the Phillies are playing right now. And we have that weather blowing out. So you're seeing a lot of these like pop fly line drives that are just traveling and continue to go out. And of course, like the Rangers have like that pop too, but I think that the Phillies certainly, sorry, I can't type and talk at the same time. The Phillies certainly have the better offense though here. And then if you go back and you look at, the Phillies last 10 home games, they won, 11-4, 5-2, 11-5. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They've won 8 out of their last 10, and they've won by 2+ in 6 of the last 8. And in some of those, they're winning by like 7, 5, 9 runs, So like if you think the Phillies are going to win today at home, they have a pretty good chance to win by 2 just based off what they've been doing. And obviously they beat they beat the Rangers here. They're outscoring them 16-6 in the 2 games they've had so far. I think it's probably a pretty solid spot to back the Phillies minus 1.5, which they've certainly been. I mean, I feel like every time I give this play out on the podcast, I feel like it's hit, and they've been doing pretty good. I would certainly think the Phillies are probably a pretty good. If we think they're going to cover minus 1.5, their money line is like minus 200. If you're looking to try to put together a 2-leg money line play, we talk about that a lot on here too. There's just not a lot of good options today. Phillies minus 200, I feel like is an awesome line. I suppose the only other option would be, try and builder wise, Chuck, if you're still in here, Chuck normally talks about it. The Orioles are minus 230 against the White Sox, but I mean, they got G-Rod pitching, who's been not very good away. He's got like a 6 ERA. Clevenger in his 1 home start has looked pretty good. I mean, the Orioles have just been rough, like I've trusted the Orioles multiple times. Then yesterday I'm like, oh, Orioles are going to score today. Of course they do. And they still lost 3-4 to the Cardinals. They've been swept by the Cardinals, So like Phillies and Orioles is the right play in terms of like a safe 2-leg play. But I don't think I love it though, to be completely honest. However, I have one more play on the board. J Book, do you got anything else sitting there that's kind of popped up, or do you want me to go into that and then we can talk home runs?
Honestly, no, I don't have any. Like one thing I was looking at earlier, but I'm unsure yet. Maybe I can get your opinion on this, but I was looking at Luis Gill under on his case because his line's set at 7.5. I mean, I know he's playing against the Mariners, but I'm kind of a guy that's like, so say a guy has a really good outing his last appearance. Usually his line for the next game is going to be a little bit higher. They're going to be like, oh, well, he got, I think, what did Luis Gill have last game? Like 12 Ks or something like that. Let me see.
Yeah, 14.
14. Yeah. So he had a ton of Ks. I kind of like to bet on like a little bit of a regression on the next game because 7.5, in my opinion, 7.5 line, that's a line for elite pitchers. That's a line that you should only be seeing for like Tyler Glasnow, Spencer Strider, Garrett Cole, players like that. I mean, don't matter what the matchup is. I understand the Mariners are a high K rate team, so he could hit it, but I'm kind of leaning towards the under on 7.5 for that.
Yeah. No, I mean, that makes a lot of sense, especially because he's only over it in 3 of 9. So he's under in 6 of 9. And, take out those outliers, he only averages about 6 Ks.
Yeah. So I mean, he had one really good, obviously, appearance, and you can get his under at -140 for under 7.5.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's probably a bad book. But then, like TJ said, that's another good point. TJ says he looked into it, but Seattle strikes out the most in MLB, which obviously depends on who shows up or whatever. So I mean, that could certainly have some kind of play into the line too. A little, maybe a number higher or something.
Yeah. So I mean, the combination of him having a good outing his last appearance and then playing against Seattle, who's a high K rate team, his line's going to be high. To get 8 Ks, you really got to be on your stuff. You got to be, playing a really good game. So I would lean that 7.5. I could totally see him getting like 7.
Yeah. I think that makes sense. I mentioned a lot. There's a lot, like it's a lot easier to hit an under bet than it is to hit an over bet. I mean, like he could take a liner, he could get pulled, he could get hurt. He could have a 30 pitch first inning and not make it, not pitch as deep. I mean, there's a lot of things that can happen that go into all of it,
Exactly.
Man, this bet still hasn't closed out on DraftKings. So like I'm still trying to figure out what the heck is going on. They owe me money, dang it. All right. All right, third play, and then we can talk some home runs real quick. As usual, before we get into the third play, I always ask people to get in there and like the video if you have not done that for me. So if you're watching on mobile, you can just drag the video down. You won't lose me. Hit the like button, pull it back up. Also hit that subscribe button if you're not there. Like I said, I am on the path of trying to hit 1,000 subscribers. And once I hit 1,000, I can stop mentioning it every day, it seems like. But do me a favor, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button for me too. I know more likes I get, I'm sure the more like activity or recommendations of the video that might pop up and people can check it out. But here we go. Going with an over on outs, a prop that was doing fantastic for me and then kind of started to fall away. And it just kind of depends on like the day and like what kind of action I have and whether or not there's a good spot for it or whatever. But this man, Jack Flaherty, has been a 6-inning merchant all season. His outs line is set to 17.5 on FanDuel. You can get it at -120. It was a little juicier on DraftKings, so it actually had better odds than FanDuel, which is weird. FanDuel, kind of just started having some of these out props show up, but he's over this in 8 of 9 starts this year, 4 for 4 at home. I don't have a picture for that, but he went 18, 19, 20, and 20 at home so far this year. His his pitch count progressively getting higher, throughout the year. And I've talked a lot, and TJ knows it as a Blue Jays fan here. Talked a lot about this Blue Jays offense and how it's hard to trust them, and similar to the Red Sox for me and everything like that. Second from last in runs scored on the year, 23rd worst batting average, 3rd least home runs. They just don't do a lot. I don't think it takes a whole lot for Jack to come in here and kind of hold them down and have some shorter innings. It does always seem like every time I want to out prop, the guy, walks a guy or gets bases loaded in trouble and goes for 30 innings in the first or 30 pitches in the first inning or something stupid like that. But we're going to run it. Mainly so though, let's see. Where's my button? Oh, here it is. You have you can look at the way the bullpen's been for Detroit here. I got it pulled up on the graph. Obviously, if you see some red on here, and this is even showing dark red on here, you've got some pretty tired arms in the bullpen here. Seven guys. Let's see. Hold up. I missed the whole part of it. That's okay. They've been using up a lot of their arms. They've used 3 guys yesterday. They used 3 guys since Monday. I mean, they've used up all but 1 arm so far in this stretch here that they've had here just recently. You got many guys that have been pitching. Many guys are going to be unavailable or a short stat. So realistically, I think they're going to want our guy here to go as many outings, as many pitches, as many innings that he can go to get us to that 18 point, I think. You also have, looking at this, the lineup for the Blue Jays here, Justin Turner's faced 17 times. He has 3 hits on him. Vlad's faced him 6 times. He has 1 hit on him. You have 7 other guys who have faced him that have 0 hits. So in terms of familiarity with him against this Blue Jays lineup, they haven't done very well against them. So I like our chances here just in terms of the fact, I mean, he's been killing it. Like I said, you look at the graph, he's over this and nearly every game this year. And then you look at the usage for the bullpen here, and these guys are going to be pretty dang tired for the third play. Yeah, take the Blue Jays team total under 3.5. Yeah, probably would be making a lot of money there. Just like rolling over the Rafael Devers home runs over and over and over. That would have probably made a whole lot of money too. All right, so to recap here then, for the official plays for the podcast, my side, we're going to go Pirates money line plus Paul Skeens. Like I said, I liked it at 7 for plus 104. I like the boost even better for 6 at plus 150. Second play, Phillies minus 1.5 with Wheeler on the mound, and then Jack Flaherty over 17.5 outs for the third play. Okay. And then Jay Bookie was liking Luis Castillo. And who was the second one again?
So I liked Luis Castillo for over 5.5, and then Kevin Gossman for over 5.5. And then I also liked Luis Gil under 7.5. And I actually just found a hitter's prop that I was wanting to mention. I just found right now that interesting. So I like Luis Ariz. I don't know how to say his last name very well, but I like him for over 1.5 total bases. So he is batting .363 versus right-handed pitching this season. He has 6 plate appearances against Montez. He is batting .500 against him, 3 hits, 4 total bases, and 1 extra base hit. So he is batting very well right now, and he's hit this line. Let me see. What do they got here? I just saw something. It says he's exceeded 1.5 bases in 7 straight games on the road. He's averaging 2.9 bases a game average on the road. Hit it 5 of the last 5. Suited an 8 of the last 10. And then also his head-to-head 2 matchups is 100%. So he had 2 total bases on May 21st and then 7 total bases on May 22nd.
Yeah. I like that really, and then it makes me like the Padres early up even more because I mean he's generally the leadoff guy there. But not only is he hitting his total bases, like looking like it's multiple hits. I mean, 1, 2, he's got 7 straight games of 2+ hits, including a 4-hit game, yesterday. So I mean, like if he's that gets your total bases, or like obviously he hits a double or something like that. Yeah,
I think that's guy too that he's hot. You gotta keep going with him when he's hot. He's on fire. So I mean, he proved that last year, obviously, where he was having those ridiculous games where he's getting 3-4+ hits a game.
Right.
I like that a lot. Yeah. Now you can get pretty much, I think, even money.
Yeah. No, that's super solid. I do like that.
I have minus 105 on DraftKings, and then it has it at minus 125 on FanDuel. So I think I'm gonna make that a play.
Yeah, no, that's super. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff behind it or whatever. So
yeah, and I like to look at also I mean, you don't have to look into it too much, but I like to look at the total run projections for the game, and obviously that's the highest projected scoring game of the day is the Padres in Cincinnati just because they're in Cincinnati. You know, that stadium with the weather and the stadium conditions are usually projected for a high amount of runs, just like Colorado.
Yep. Small ballpark. Yep. For sure. Definitely. All right. So I'll answer this question in a second. So, without further ado, I think we just need to put together a home run lotto here real quick, spin a little bit on that, and see if we can get some magic and hit one today since I'm going to have an extra helper. But payday, what's our opinion on the RBI market? I think that it's pretty difficult to, I mean, like, of course, guys, there's just things that go along with it. So if you think a guy's going to hit a home run, then perfect. Then that's a great chance, good opportunity for an RBI. It also depends on where the person's batting and what the bottom of like the order looks like. So if you have somebody like, I don't know, like Mookie, for example, if you're going to take his RBIs, I feel like the Dodgers' bottom half of the lineup just sucks. It's all top heavy. Where you look at like Acuna, who the Braves, I feel like have one of the more complete lineups. You want to know like who's going to be on base when he comes up kind of thing. So it really kind of goes along with like where they're batting in the lineup, who's in front of them, but also like who's behind them. Like I talked about, like Pete Alonso would always bat third for the Mets, and a lot of times you'd see a walk or he wouldn't get very many good pitches. But now he has JD Martinez batting behind him, so Alonso's a little more protected, and you see Alonso batting very, very well since JD's come into the lineup after being injured or whatever. So it kind of depends daily by the lineup where they're batting, who's behind them, whether or not they're protected, and everything like that. And it kind of just comes down to it's like a game script type bet, but you can't really predict the game script in MLB like you can, in the NFL, so it's kind of hard. I don't mess with it. So maybe that's because it's hard.
I've dabbled a little bit. It's just, it's super random. I mean, you can get good odds. What people like to do usually is they like to take their RBIs and ladder them up to 3 RBIs, and get good value. Cause say, for instance, you take the 3 or 4 hitter, and like you were saying, the first 1 or 2 guys get on base. There's the opportunity there for a 3-run shot, and there you go. You got all 3 RBIs right there.
Yep. Yeah, and then especially in a game like, like the Yankee game, you got 2 pretty solid pitchers. Like there's a 23% increase in home runs, blah blah blah. But like I don't know how many runs there's going to be with solid pitchers. But then you look at like the Phillies matchup, and the Rangers have Heaney pitching, who's been getting hit. So then like taking like Harper or like JT or something like that, would be a potential look. So it's a harder market, that's for sure. Certainly profitable though. But okay. Anyhow, time to go ahead. So drop your thoughts. Let us know what you like in terms of a home run. I don't have anybody picked out at this moment. If you look at like batter versus pitcher matchups, there's no outliers today. There's about what looks like 10 guys that have hit a home run against their starting pitcher. Ellie's hit a home run against Waldron. Candelario's hit a home run. I think he hit one yesterday. Soto's hit a home run against Luis. Turner's hit one against, Flaherty. There's just not a lot in terms of batter versus pitcher matchup. If we look at games that you have the Reds game has got a 32% chance increase in home run, but really that's just because it's the Red Stadium, so nothing crazy there. You have wind blowing out to right center at the Phillies game with a plus 18% increase, and then Yankee Stadium blowing out to left field with a plus 23%. So, Yankees, Mariners, Phillies, Rangers, possibly like a Padres player. I just don't trust any Reds players to hit a home run, in my opinion. And then the White Sox in Baltimore is another one that they got a plus 8%. It's blowing inwards, but doesn't hurt too bad against at that stadium, the way it's built. Not going to touch Justin Turner. There's no way. 0-30, that's crazy. We were talking about how he was batting like 800 against lefties in the first like 3 weeks of the season, to him not being able to hit the ball against anybody. when you're in a slump, you're in a slump. Just like with
Oh,
betting, when you're slumping, you're slumping. You know, like
yeah.
there's nothing about it.
It's a grind. Those guys, they play a ton of games. I mean,
Yeah.
we'll see it in there. They'll have a slump for 5 games. I mean, it probably feels like an eternity to them, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Falling off a cliff. Yep. All right. But Michael says Harper. Jared says Harper. Harper did not, I don't think, hit a home run yesterday, and he had hit 1B. We were on Harper. We had the run it back parlay yesterday. That certainly did not work. We went 0-3. So that strategy was not the best. Let's see. Harper in his career. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, he's just faced him one time. Lefty. Baseball. I don't know how Harper is.
I like Judge, but I mean, if he hit one yesterday, I don't know. I mean, but he's capable of going. He's hot too, so.
Yeah, I mean, the wind's blowing. Judge is a righty, isn't he?
Yeah.
So I mean, the wind's blowing his direction. I mean, Judge is going to be juiced, but there's nothing wrong with it.
Let me see what the odds are on it.
Harper has hit 3 home runs against a lefty this year, 9 versus righties. So I mean, it's not like he can't do it. Obviously, there's just less lefty pitchers.
Plus 265 for Judge.
That's not bad.
I mean, for a parlay, yeah.
Yeah, that'll work.
I mean, Stanton, you can get him at plus 360. I think someone's going to home run in that game. I mean, Castillo, historically, he gives up some bombs.
Yeah, Payday, I agree. Like Judge does seem to be hitting the ball well. I was able to watch him the other day when it seems like they're always on playing against somebody that's like blocked out in my area. But yeah, it seemed like he was like he's making really good contact.
Yeah,
not striking out as much. Where's that game? 12:30. Whew, I didn't realize how late it was. 265 for Aaron Judge. I'll take that.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, that guy's capable of hitting against anybody, so.
I think I'm going to run this Skeens play since it starts in 20 minutes. I need to get this bad boy in the Discord here real quick.
I know I need to get that Castillo and Gossman play in there too.
Yeah. You probably use your phone from it. You can go ahead and hop out. We can finish off the rest. The Judge can be your pick. Since I've got two screens in front of me and the phone in my hand.
All right. Yeah. No, I mean, it was good. I'm glad he brought me on.
The view. Appreciate it. Most Thursdays he's available, so we can try to see if we can't get him next Thursday. But we appreciate you popping on.
Hey, no problem, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. Thank you.
Later.
All right. Full screen. Okay. I need 2 more. Let me see. Just a second. Give me like 30 seconds. I'm going to run. My wife texts me, hungry, ... Are you? Yes. Yes, wife. I'm always hungry. I'm a man. But whatever you want to eat is probably not going to be very healthy for me, my health consciousness right now. I ate like 3 cans of tuna yesterday, like all day. Tuna salad or whatever. All right, almost done. Just a second. So what happens, man? Yesterday, I worked out twice, ate good because she wasn't home all day, and then she's home. Okay. Padres or Yankees for which one? Okay. Bookie like Judge, I do too. We're cool. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with Harper, I think too. So let me add Harper to this list. Good home run environments. I feel good about that. Plus 430. JT's been hitting the ball well, but JT hit one yesterday. Harper didn't, so I feel Harper's probably going to be due. I feel good about that. Vish, I like Padres. I like Padres probably early up on the DraftKings promo if you have it. I would almost lean Mariners a little bit over Yankees, but I don't know. I feel we need to take an Oriole, TJ, for sure. Let's look. The history against Clevenger here. Mike Clevenger. So O'Hearn is 1-2 for 13 against them with 2 doubles. Not awesome. But he also has 2 doubles against them, so it's not like the end of the world. So the Orioles are just broken right now, guys. Like low-key broken. Like they're not hitting righties at all. I think Gunnar, though, probably does hit righties better than any other Oriole out there, and I don't think he's hit one in a while. It might not be a bad idea to go with some chalk. He's hit 12 home runs against righties. Like they can't hit right-handed pitching right now at all. They're hitting terrible away too. Where's his? Can I see his home run stats in away games? He's hit 6 home runs away and 10 at home. Like a righty and them away, they've just been horrendous. But I say we go with Gunnar. I'm cool with that. Clemson scored another run. It's 3-6. College baseball, man, I don't know. Like these conference tournaments just kind of suck. Like no aces pitching. Like a lot of them are running bullpen. Like I don't know. Like do they not care? Maybe I don't know if this helps with seeding for the big tournament or like the World Series or what. But they gave up 5 in the second. If they wouldn't have given up such a big number, this would be obviously a tighter game. So we got plenty of game for them to hopefully come back. But if we did Aaron Judge, Bryce Harper, Gunnar Henderson, that's plus 8,024. Probably a pretty good number. But I feel like that's probably pretty good. Man, I don't like that they haven't paid out this Louisiana Tech bet yet. Like, what's going on? For those of you that took it with me. There's no way. Like, they don't play today. Even if you look at their Twitter today, I forget. It's like La Tech Baseball or something. I forget what. It's some weird thing on Twitter. Like it says, final score 2-8. Next up, Liberty or Sam Houston tomorrow. They do not have another game. So that game listed was the game for today. It was at 10 o'clock. The line came off once the game started. So it was clearly for that game. They just shouldn't have opened a lineup for it, and we took advantage of it in the Discord. So hopefully they pay it out. It's just they're gonna take all day to do it, apparently. Clemson's got a guy on third. Okay. Well, anybody that's still in here or watched on Twitter, thanks a lot. Today was a good interactive day, probably because I had an extra guest from the Discord. Probably, caught some extra people on there. If you're in here and you haven't subscribed, like the video, whatever, do that for me. Trying to build this bad boy up, from the ground, obviously, and not like I bought the channel or anything. I definitely got some followers though. I got 928, so I'm 72 away. So I probably picked up I'm not sure how many, but a decent amount from that. So probably had extra viewers, like I said, because Jay Bookie was on. But shout out to him for joining and everything. It was very, very last second. Within the last 10 minutes, we decided on it. So maybe next Thursday we'll work on that. TJ in the chat talked about possibly having him on in the upcoming days here too, possibly this weekend or at some point once he's got some stuff coming down or whatever, finishing up, however you want to say it. I'm gonna close it out though. Figure out what my wife wants to possibly eat, and then I gotta mow the grass still. All that stuff. I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow at 9 a.m. I'll be done. I'll be done in time. I'll research there. We'll be good. Okay. All right. I'm gonna get out of here. Recap here just again real quick. Before we get out of here. Pirates money line Skeens, 6Ks on that boost. Phillies -1.5. Jack Flaherty over 17.5. And then for the home run lotto, we're gonna go with Aaron Judge, Bryce Harper, Gunnar Henderson sitting at plus 8,024. Appreciate you guys. And I will see you guys back tomorrow at 11:30.